Friend, you're here because baseboards can be challenging. Don't I know it? Oh, sure, our floors get used for all sorts of things, but it's the baseboards that take the real beating. Maybe yours are looking shabby, and cleaning them with tools like the Baseboard Buddy. Yeah, it's a real device. We'll put a link in the description below. But perhaps cleaning them with the Baseboard Buddy isn't enough. So you're here for the secret to perfect painted white trim. Or you're installing a new floor, and you want to know if you should remove the baseboards or just add quarter round. Or maybe you just don't want to mess with painting them while they're still in place. Well, I'm going to answer all those questions, plus show you baseboard removal the best way, so you can give your home the inexpensive facelift it needs. DeMille's behind the camera. Let's get started. Yep, beautiful baseboards provide a smooth, clean... Margie, you're in the middle of the floor. They provide a smooth, clean contrast that puts the finishing touch on your floor. DeMille, you getting the shot you need?
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like I'm getting the shaft here. DeMille, focus on what we're doing here. Or cut to the other angle. Cheese and crackers.
You're so strong.
Yeah, sober up. Now this here is a pretty standard baseboard. No quarter round on this one, but along the top here, the baseboard has a thin line of caulk that fills the gap where it meets the wall. That caulk is the reason why you just can't pry these off the wall and give them a yank. Because if you do, you'll rip the paint off or even damage the drywall in some cases. Well, instead of brute force, here's the tools I use. Now your choices might be slightly different. A good sharp razor knife, sharp enough to gut a carp, I'd say. Needle nose pliers, a painter's 5-in-1 tool, or I suppose you could use like a wide blade putty knife. And then some sort of pulling tool like a hammer claw. I use this little pry bar that I call a chicken foot. And to appease my lawyers, I always wear 6 pair of gloves and 14 pair of safety goggles. Now, you might not have these exact tools, but you'll probably have something similar that'll do just fine. Junior and I used this process when we tore up some tile and replaced it with laminate floor. Mr. Boss couldn't believe it. Razor knife coming into action. And it's the first key to my secret, because I run it along just enough to break the seal here. That caulk will give you trouble if you don't. Now I'm going to create some upward leverage here, just to loosen things up a bit. Start bending those nails and get them in the right frame of mind. Then I take my 5-in-1 tool. See, she can't wait to come out. If you do need to shimmy her, like for a longer baseboard, just do it a little bit at a time. And eventually they come right out. Now I glide my tool right along the wall and get that caulk off. And when you look at the back side of your board, don't make the mistake of thinking you can knock them nails back through old school way, like with a hammer. And chances are you'll have just builder's staples that were shot in with a nail gun, and you just grab them with a needle nose and give them a twist and they come out. I put them in a container and save them because Helen likes to use these to pick her teeth when she's done eating raw meat. When you've done all that, you want to knock off any rough edges that might be on the back of it. There's typically some caulk at the top, you see. Scrape that right off. But be careful about scraping this way, because this wood is really soft and you'll dig right down into it. If there is more caulk on the top that you feel you need to get, just gently slide along your caulk like this with a tool. Depending on your situation, you may have caulk on the front of your baseboard. And if you're removing a lot of baseboards, it's easy to forget where they go. So I always number mine accordingly. I'm on 53. Let's see, 50, 53. DeMille, how do you... Boy, that's a toughie. Yeah, 53. And the same thing on the wall here. Nobody's going to see it when it's covered by the baseboard.
There's more where that came from.
Junior, who was that?
Grandma.
Now, there's two more things we got to cover in order to do a job you'll be proud of. My secret removal method in case you come across real nails instead of them nail gun staples I showed you. And if you're installing a new floor, answers to your questions about the most dreaded of all decisions, whether or not to use quarter round. You see, back in my day, the circle hadn't been invented yet, so quarter round used to look like this. It's the best we could do at the time. But these days, quarter round has come a long way, and I'll show you there is a time and a place to use it. First, though, take a look at this. You're looking at Merv's merch. We sell stuff now, like shirts that are soft and made out of some kind of fabric, and coffee cups that hold coffee, plus they got a handle and everything. And see, we got funny sayings, like that's a funny thing I said once. You want something 10 times as funny? Buy 10 of them. The website is htopus, couple of dots, couple of slanted lines, teespring.com/stores/Mervs-merch. Pretty much trips right off the tongue. Or you could click on the link below the video. Support the channel, would you? DeMille, was that the soft sell approach you were asking for? Was that okay? Boy, professional announcing is hard. All right, let's get down to business. So you've been dreaming about coming home to some good hard wood or laminate flooring, and you're determined to do it yourself, but you're up against a moral dilemma. Should I use quarter round or not? Well, friend, Margie went undercover and busted hump this summer doing a lot of research on the flooring chat boards. And I'm going to give it to you straight. Turns out the high-maintenance women that hang around them snooty flooring forums think quarter round is a cob job redneck approach. Now, while some of you may misconstrue that as a compliment, this is actually known as trim shaming, and it does have some validity. The clean lines of freshly painted baseboards will frame your walls with a nice, classy look, there's no doubt.
So sexy.
But in addition to removing them prior to floor install, I want you to think about something else. Most laminate manufacturers will tell you that you must leave a 3/8 inch expansion gap between the edge of your floor and the wall. If not, they won't honor the warranty. And while that may not sound like a hard thing to do, consider the fact that your baseboards are only a 1/2 inch thick, friend. That doesn't leave you much room for error, does it? But looky here, quarter round leaves you a heck of a lot more wiggle room. So in my case, we did the main living areas with just the baseboards. Then made it easier on ourselves by using quarter round in the closets and bedrooms. And man, was it easier. So give it some serious thought. And if you choose to do quarter round, don't worry, I won't tell nobody. Now let's say you got a legit nail that somebody used to snug up a baseboard, and let's say it's hammered into a stud real tight. Well, don't just grab it with your claw or hammer, because you'll end up prying against your sheetrock and making a hole in the wall by applying leverage to this area up here. Instead, put your 5-in-1 tool against the wall to even out the pressure. Then pry out your nail. Now that is what I call a professional approach. You know, learning about baseboards can be eye-opening and fun. So if you liked this video, share it with others. This is Merv himself, and I'll see you next time. Merv's Service Secrets is an ongoing DIY adventure. Be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications to get updates on every chapter in our story.